Alrighty, with that, fellas, I think that we can get started here. As I mentioned, I am going to basically go into a few charts, gonna check out what Bitcoin's doing on a few different time frames. I'll take a look at the MDX ALGO indicators, kind of take a look at a few different things that they are saying on different time frames. If anyone has any questions about the indicators, about the preferences or the setup, my preferences, my setup, my numbers on there, anything like that, by all means, feel free to ask. I don't have the answers for absolutely everything, but I've been using these indicators for quite a while now, so I really like using them. So yeah, any questions, by all means, feel free. And with that, I'm just going to dive into a few charts and see what some things are saying here. There's no easy way to say it on a larger time frame here, just looking at Bitcoin on the daily. I think it's a pretty bearish looking chart, to be honest. To me, it just looks like we have this little bit of a descending triangle. And I know I was in the voice chat with someone else the other day, and we were talking about this, and I kind of mapped out this upwards sloping support line. It is looking like a descending triangle, but it just is upwards sloping a little bit. Just going for those perfect touch points here. These ones are very close here, so I'd say it's a fairly respected support line there. And after we ended up dropping these levels and sweeping our lows from back in June, we actually got a perfect retest immediately of that old support as resistance and got rejected right away. The other day, just a few days ago, we ended up getting another perfect retest of that level. That's what I don't like to see in the charts right now. I mean, it's nice to see because it is basic charting analysis. Basic price action would be seeing strong levels of support flip into resistance. So as far as a healthy trend goes, this could be absolutely beautiful. But if you want to remain bullish, this isn't something that I would want to see. The only thing going for us right now, as technically Bitcoin is still setting these on a micro level, these higher lows here. Right now, we're really floating with that territory. If we end up dropping, just sweeping our yesterday's lows here, I think Bitcoin could drop a lot lower. And just kind of to point out a few things from that, if I wanted to take a measured move, because I know a lot of people who do follow triangles and those kinds of price action, triangles often get a measured move. And if we wanted to take a full measured move of this triangle from where I have my top here down to the baseline, taking that from where we broke out, and that's giving us a target close to 11,000 US dollars. And a lot of analysts and traders have kind of that 10, 11, all the way to $14,000 kind of on their radar as potential bearish price targets here. And something that's interesting, since we are looking at the MDX ALGO indicators here, if I bring up this trade setup on the ALGO 3 on the daily chart here, you can see that we actually have an interesting take profit level down here. These have actually changed very recently. Before it was actually saying the TP1 was down here. But you can see that this measured move is actually lining up quite closely with a take profit level here. So that's interesting to have that little bit of confluence with the indicators there. As well as something that was a little bit alarming, as I was talking about retesting this support level of the triangle as resistance, we also got this reversal warning. That would be this orange dot with the W there. So to see that potential reversal point right as we were flirting with that support resist flip level, that's just some confluence that it's great if you're bearish. And, you know, this is one of those things that we could be looking at a trend continuation here. On top of that, this is a very shorter time frame, I guess, support line here, this upward sloping support level. It is still a daily chart though, and it does have some nice touch points here. These wicks are basically bang on 3 touch points, and then we got a candle close below that line. So even now, if we do end up bouncing a little bit, I just want you guys to be very aware that there's a few different things showing potential resistance in our very near future for Bitcoin here if we do start to climb a little bit. You can see the 21-day EMA on the ALGO 3 here is looking like it wants to be a little bit of resistance confluence, as well as this old upward sloping support line, which would act as a beautiful new resistance if we are to get that rejection there. Something to watch for is if we do just end up getting back above this trend line, kind of get back into this triangle and then flip that into support rather than resistance, then I think we're in a very different position. But just as it looks right now, those are all just a few things that I want you to be a little bit cautious of, you guys. Another thing I want to point out, actually, speaking of confluence, I just want to take that measured move again here of this triangle, as I said, from where it broke out from. And now I just want to turn off the ALGO 3 here, and I want to really zoom out. You guys will know, if you've been paying attention to my own YouTube channel here, and a lot of different analysts have been talking about the fact that one thing to be a little bit cautious about with trying to predict the bear market bottom here is this bear market only dropped about 75% when we were trading at these levels down here. And one thing I was talking about, even though I was quite, like, I will fully admit, I was very bullish in this area back here and thinking that this was very possibly the bear market bottom. But one thing that was still on my radar is we never got a full 85% correction that Bitcoin loves to do with full bear market cycles. This isn't a very old chart here, so I'm not going to bring that up. But previous bear markets love to retrace about 85%, and we did not get that yet. So far, we're at about a 75-76% retrace. Not saying we have to go all the way to 85%. It's just something that Bitcoin loves to repeat in history. And something that's interesting is this target down here, if we do get that daily measured move, would also line up with that 84-85% total market cycle correction. So there is a little bit of confluence going for that level there, you guys, just kind of between 11 and 10.5 thousand US dollars. There's a lot of signs in the charts pointing that we may not quite be bottomed yet. We may be seeing another tumble to the downside, and I think that 11,000 all the way down towards 10,000 makes a lot of sense to get to end up seeing those kinds of price levels once again. One thing that could end up saving Bitcoin here is I did have this little bit of a support box mapped out, something like this. I'm just getting rid of that because this chart's starting to get a little bit cluttered. But the bottom of that box, I wanted to leave that little support line drawn out from this little bit of structure back here from our previous market cycle all-time high. And then we did get this little bit of confluence on the way up. We'd really never got much consolidation ever on this parabolic bull run that we had. But the fact that we did get this little test here, it isn't much, but it is a weekly chart here. So I do want to say that there is potential, at least some interest at these levels. So the fact that these weekly candles never ended up closing below this level on this pullback down here, we are still technically holding them as support, even though we did wick below them very briefly. So there is a little bit of hope here. But again, you guys, I just don't know. I think that this daily chart does speak volumes. I really think that this looks quite bearish. The only thing that I'm seeing here that is making me, I guess, a little hesitant to flip too bearish right now is just the fact that we never got too much of a follow through so far. I was really expecting with this rejection that we would have just absolutely dumped off a cliff and actually started to capitulate and see a lot more volatility than we are right now. Now, there is the fact that we are trading in a weekend right now, so maybe Bitcoin's just not making its move yet. But as far as just basic technical analysis, this chart pattern here does not look good in my opinion. It looks very much like a continuation pattern. The fact that we came at it from the upside, came down, just kind of consolidated, broke out of this triangle, came back and got this perfect retest. And like I said, with that potential reversal warning there, posing as some resistance there from the ALGO 3. Definitely something to consider there. So just be cautious, guys. If we do end up pumping to the upside here, yeah, I absolutely see some reason why we could be finding support at this level. Just be cautious that there is a lot of resistance up ahead. So just something to keep on the radar there. I'm going to pull up the other indicators here. On the top, we have the oscillator 4. This really kind of right in the middle right now. Nothing too crazy going on here. I'm actually going to check some other time frames in a little bit here as well. The daily on the MDX oscillator 5 down here actually did have an overbought signal up here. We got that big red dot up in our red resistance box at the top of this indicator. Even got this deviation called out here. So a lot of things were providing a little bit of confluence at these levels here with that retest. So that's something I don't want to take too lightly, you guys. I'm actually leaning a little bit bearish right now. Obviously on the short times, I trade a lot shorter time frames than the daily chart like this. But I'm always looking to be aware of a larger time frame like the daily here, and it is having me lean a little bit bearish right now. So obviously we'll zoom in and see what the shorter time frames are saying. But yeah, just a few things that I'm looking at on the daily chart so far. The 4-hour chart, that's actually fairly nice to see, to be honest, is that the oscillator 4 here actually had some nice bullish divergences there. The oscillator 5 got this nice oversold big green dot here in our support level there. Orange dot on the ALGO 3 saying that this trend, this downward trend, could be a little bit exhausted at this level. So that is good to see. The 4-hour doesn't actually look too bad. Yes, we do have this moving average coming down towards the price. You can see the ALGO 3 absolutely nailed this trade setup. It was saying to go short right at about this level here, and we did actually get the first take profit there. So how big was that move anyways? That was about 4%. Add a little bit of leverage. That was a beautiful call right there. So indicator absolutely nailed that on the 4-hour. On top of that, right before it took that entry, also had this little triangle here. That's just showing potential top. Here, if I go into the settings here, that would be the tops and bottoms, would be those little blue triangles. And like I was showing before, reversal warnings, those orange dots with the W's on them. Yeah, so all in all, you guys, like I said, there's a few things to be cautious of, but not all hope is lost yet. Let's hop over to the 1-hour chart. What's the 1-hour chart saying? It hasn't quite hit its take profit one from that short call yet. The ALGO is flipping green here currently, but it is flip-flopping a little bit, so a little bit unsure right now on the 1-hour. One thing that would be a little bit concerning to me is that as we had this uptrend here, we were just setting higher lows, and the fact that we actually got back below this level now, once again, just kind of looking at support possibly flipping into resistance, so something to consider there. What else can we check out here? This is dialed right into the 3-minute chart here. I don't think I'm quite ready to hit these degen levels yet. Let's hop into these in a little bit here. I want to take a look at the DXY. I know I point this out pretty much every stream, keeping an eye on this monthly chart here. So each of these candles is actually a month of data. The DXY not looking super great here. It looks good for crypto because we got this beautiful rejection here. But again, guys, this is a monthly chart, so a lot can happen in a month. I mean, this candle could very easily find some kind of recovery and pump up to some of these fib levels again. Gonna have to see what happens, but this doesn't look too bad for crypto as a whole. Looking at more of a longer term approach here, because this is a 10-year channel here that the DXY was bouncing around in. So the fact that it found resistance at a perfect resistance point there, it makes a lot of sense. As well, it was right in the pocket between my favorite Fibonacci levels, the 786 and 886, pulled top to bottom here looking for resistance. And this Fibonacci is actually pulled from 20 years of data. So a lot of data on this chart, you guys. Obviously, we can't place any trades based on this. This is just looking at a very macro picture here. Looking more at the daily here. Yeah, you know, it is looking like the DXY has seen quite a sharp pullback here. We did have this beautiful upward sloping trend line that broke, and from there it just absolutely dumped off a cliff. But obviously not everything goes straight down or straight up, right? So I mean, it makes sense that at some point this DXY is going to find a bounce, and that could actually end up just providing a little more sell pressure on Bitcoin and crypto as a whole, just because you guys are probably well aware that the DXY and crypto generally have a very strongly inverse correlated situation there, where generally if the DXY is climbing, crypto's shit in the bed, and if the DXY is dumping, then crypto's generally doing pretty good. Lately, that hasn't really been the case, but I mean, there's a lot of fundamental things going on right now with FTX and all that FUD with a lot of different exchanges and that sort of stuff. So typically speaking, I am not a fundamental guy whatsoever. I generally let the charts do the talking, but I mean, the past little while has been absolutely crazy in the crypto space for sure. Just going to zoom right in here. Let's just take a look at the 5 minute, because why not? Well, I got you guys here. We may as well take a look at some degenerate time frames here. Does anyone have anything they want to mention actually on a longer time frame? Before I start getting real degenerate here, does anyone want to mention anything, ask any questions about the indicators, give your input on where you think the market is heading, anything like that? By all means, someone hop on the mic if you guys have anything you want to say, or in the chat box in the indicators live group here. Feel free to type a message as well if you don't want to be on the mic.
Stu, maybe just a little suggestion from my side. Hi, by the way.
Oh, hello, Chris. Long time no speak.
Hi there. That's true. Can you please try to change the streaming quality to 30 FPS?
30 FPS?
Kind of blurred out.
I can do that. I probably just have to stop for a sec here.
Yeah, you can change it while streaming, but
Oh,
I just looked at the Discord stream and it was kind of blurred.
okay. You want it on 30? I had it on 60.
Yeah, that was just my idea. That maybe then it's better. Yeah,
Do you see it a little
that's it.
better now?
Awesome.
Oh, really? That made a big difference, hey?
That made a difference,
Oh,
definitely.
perfect. Well, that is that's good to know. Thanks for that.
Good to know.
Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
no questions, sir.
Any personal opinion about where the market is headed or anything like that?
Actually, the last time where I checked the charts is, I think, 3 weeks ago. So
Oh, really?
I don't do any trading at the moment because I'm just deving like hell. So
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. I've
no.
seen you busy on Twitter and stuff like that. Yeah, right on. Keeping busy then. All right. Well, I guess if no one has anything else that they want to input here, let's dive right into some degen levels. Maybe something will catch our eye for a trade setup here or something. If we look at the ALGO 3 here, I have the trade feature active right now, and you can see that it is actually looking at a short play right now. Um, I am getting some serious feedback for some reason all of a sudden. Okay, yeah, here we go. So I got the ALGO 3. I have the trade feature active here. To activate that, if you guys aren't aware, that would just be the trade box here in the settings of the indicator. Also, just something I want to point out to any of you guys using the indicator, if it looks funny or things aren't working visually, make sure you right click on any of the signals, go to visual order and bring to front. I've heard some people have had issues with how the indicator looks on their charts, and quite often that'll be a solution. So just wanted to bring that up just in case I have some new people here today. But yeah, just going into the ALGO 3 here, it does currently have a short call that it had made. That would have been about back here. It said to enter a short. Look how perfect that stop loss was placed, actually. I usually don't use these stop losses all too religiously like that. I usually would end up having my stop kind of beyond structure. So I generally have a stop loss just a little looser than what the indicator is showing. But that's all stuff that you can actually you can modify as well. If I were to up the level of risk here, it would actually make the stop loss be a little further away, and then the take profits would also be a little further away. I haven't done much back testing with that, so I'm not going to play around with those settings. I'm just saying that I typically do have my stop loss a little looser than that, but interesting to see just how accurately that was placed there. Absolutely beautiful. So we're right back around the entry levels that it was calling for. If we do end up getting to the first take profit here, that's getting back down towards the hourly trend confluence here. I'm currently on my 5-minute chart, but I have my 1 hour EMA trend confluence active right now. So what this will do is, generally speaking, if the hourly and 5-minute trends are agreeing with each other currently, I will get these strong signals. So that'll give me strong short or long signals, depending how we are. Right now we are back above the hourly trend confluence, which is actually surprising to me that it gave this strong signal here, but I guess it was looking at this as being a potential fake out here. But yeah, if we end up getting back down below this hourly trend confluence, I think we'll start to see a whole bunch of these strong short signals showing up on the charts. And I think that's where we're going to see the price actually end up getting pushed down, kind of testing these lows from earlier in this range way back. Where are we at here? Kind of heading back down towards that 16 point, or sorry, what am I looking at here? 16.6 all the way down towards 16.5, somewhere in there. If we lose those levels, then I think we're heading back down below 16K, and from there, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I think there's definitely potential, just how I was talking about this daily trend, these daily patterns here. I think there's absolutely possibility for the floodgates to open and Bitcoin to just take a little bit of a waterfall to the downside. But obviously, there's a lot of what ifs between now and then. We're going to have to get back down below this trend confluence and kind of see what happens there. Currently, if I were looking, let's just take away the indicators here. I think 16.8 is an important level to get above. We found this little bit of resistance back, or support back here rather. Found some resistance here last night. Quickly got rejected, pretty much bang on 16.8 there. So I think that's going to be an important level to get back above. If we do end up, let's just say this is one big deviation, we get back above and flip these levels back into support, I think we're going to have a little bit of trouble. There is some resistance up ahead below 17K, so that's about 16,930, somewhere in there. And my reasoning for this is just that if I'm looking at the market structure here, again, this is very micro analyzing here, guys. This is just a 5-minute. So I have this low here. I have a lower low here. My highest point between those two levels is right here. So this is what I'm looking at as my lower high from this high back here, lower high here. So if this structure is to remain bearish, I don't think we're really going to get back above this level. If we do, even if we got some kind of a swing fail, we just get a little wick and then get rejected, that could be grounds for a little bit of a dump to the downside, in my opinion. But again, we're going to have to see if we even do climb back up to that level. Again, like I said, it was about 16,930, 16,940, somewhere in there. Definitely going to have to watch that level. I will probably add an alert to it in a little bit here. But yeah, like I said, if we stay below this level here, I think as it stands right now, I still believe that we have some bearish structure here. With that daily chart, I'm just leaning a little bit bearish, but like I said, we could still get those pumps to the upside. It'll be interesting to see what happens. As for the midterm to long term, I think it's important to get back into this triangle. I think basically the more we respect this sold support as resistance, we're just giving the bears more of a chance to pull the trigger and just dump this thing off a cliff and start hitting some of those lower levels. So yeah, as I mentioned, I generally trade a lot shorter time frames. I've been loving the 5-minute lately with the 1 hour trend confluence. That's how I've had my indicator set up here. I'll just take a look at my preferences just so you guys can see. I know some people in the private Discord have been asking. I have finally caved and switched to inverted colors on the ALGO 3. I've just been really liking the way it lines up with the other indicators. If you start to see a whole bunch of green, and all the indicators are lining up with the same thing, it can definitely be a little bit of a warning that everything is showing that confluence. So I've been liking having the inverted colors just so everything lines up. And, it does help psychologically as well, just helping to pull the trigger on buying when you see green, and selling when you see red. That's just, it's been interesting. I haven't really done that before in the past, so I've just been trying that out a little bit lately. But going back into my settings here, like I said, my regular trend here would just be on the 5 minute because that's what chart I'm on here. For the moving average, I have been using the EMA on 21, and my trend 2, I've been using the 1 hour EMA 21 as the trend confluence. I don't typically have all of these things checked. Quite often when I start my analysis, I don't have anything checked on the indicators, and I actually start mapping out my own trend lines and that sort of stuff, and then I bring these in as I want to find more confluence in my own analysis. Something I want to correct myself about in my previous videos, I was talking about market flow, and that this is a very faint trend line here. It's a dark gray. You might not even be able to see it. But I was saying that had to do with order books. That's actually just a general flow of the market. So I just wanted to correct myself on that. What else do we have here? Yeah, right now I have the signals on. That's obviously the strong shorts, the longs, all the shorts, all the longs really. Take profits, that'll be these orange dots, and they will have a TP beside them. Tops and bottoms, as I mentioned, that was those little blue triangles. We can see some of them like right here. Reversal warnings, the W with the orange dot. Trend exhaustion is just the plain orange dots. Stotch RSI divergences, I'm actually not sure if these will even show up on the 5-minute chart. That might be a 15-minute and longer only, but they're little blue dots. The probability calculator, I know some of you use this. I typically don't use it, but it's an interesting tool. It actually shows you what the probabilities are of your candle, where your candle is going to go. And yeah, just very cool. It's quite accurate here. Let me just bring up. You can change the percentage as well. That'll be the step percent. So all of these targets that the indicator is showing, yes, they're far apart, and there's not a huge percentage chance, obviously, that the next candle is going to make it there. But that's because I currently have it set to step 1%. So 1% for a single candle is obviously quite a large move. That's why those percentages are so low there. But yeah, interesting. Very cool little tool there that it can help you pick a direction there. Like I said, trade, that's just showing you where it's recommending entries, stop loss, take profits. One thing I really like about this, quite honestly, I don't even use it as much for my entries and my stop loss, but I like to get greedy when I'm in a winning trade, and this indicator with these take profits thrown out that really emphasize and remind a person to take profits when you're up. It's so easy to just get greedy and think you're super smart when you're in a winning position and you just want to double down on it or triple down on it, when in reality that's probably a sign that you should be starting to take profits on your position. And either it's a good idea to update your stop loss at that point, if that's how your trade strategy works. Totally up to you. These, in the end, these are still just indicators to be used as confluence with your own analysis, but I am just absolutely loving them. I've always liked these indicators. I've been using them for I don't know how long, half a year or something like that. But just in the recent couple of months here, the updates to these indicators have just been phenomenal. I have just been absolutely loving them. I am just blown away. Every time there's an update, there's something super cool added. So really loving this. These red little triangle or house shaped things, a little flipped upside down house there, calling for bearish divergence there. Yeah, interesting. This this short might actually play out on this indicator. I thought it was going to get stopped out here, but that is very, very well placed on that stop loss there. Starting to flip this EMA into resistance again, so we'll have to see if that's able to push the price back down the hourly trend confluence. Because if that happens, I think there's going to be some good shorting opportunities. I'm just gonna, let's see the shorter time frames here. The oscillator 4 up here is showing that there's a potential pivot coming. Just a reversal warning with this diamond as well as this exhaustion symbol back here. So that is happening while we're trading at these levels. So that is a little bit of a warning if you were to take this short right now. But we are actually right around the entry level price right now. So, I mean, as far as following this indicator goes, I mean, we're right at the price it's recommending a position. We're going to have to watch this one play out a little bit here. Does anybody have any other questions now that I've gone over a little more with the indicators? Is there anything I missed? I know I didn't want to go over absolutely everything because I do these with you guys quite a bit, and some of you guys are coming back every week, and I don't want to just bore you to death with doing the exact same thing over and over. But if there's any questions about the indicators or anything, by all means, go for it. And if nobody has too much else to say, I'm actually going to wrap up the stream fairly quick, and then we'll actually just hang out. And I was just going to hang out, watch the indicator here on these degenerate time frames, see if we can find any snipes, anything like that. But I just don't have too much else that I personally want to rant and go on about. So rather than having a bunch of silence on my own YouTube channel, by the way, if you haven't followed my YouTube channel, please do me a favor and subscribe there. I'm also on Twitter if that interests you. Looking fabulous, by the way. Yeah, do me a favor. Follow me, subscribe on my YouTube channel. I will end up posting these videos whenever I do these live streams. I like to post them there because if anyone in the private Discord either misses these events or misses part of it, just catches up late. Yeah, just like to be able to get that to you guys, so I share them on my channel. And as well, anybody who follows me on YouTube, I like to keep them in the loop a little bit, and it's cool to let them at least get a little bit of experience with these and check out what these indicators are all about. If these indicators do interest you guys, for anyone not in the private MDX group, I do have a referral link down below. I believe there is a 7-day free trial for these indicators, so there's no harm in at least trying them. If they do interest you, you can just cancel it before 7 days or whatever if that is something you want to do, and you can still feel free to test them out. And I believe with my referral link you should also get 15% off if that is something that you want to sign up for. But yeah, like I said, I've absolutely been loving these indicators. Just great to be used as confluence. The only other indicator I've really used in the past is I was really heavy into using just the RSI, basically. Not a lot else, but I haven't even been using that very much anymore recently, just because I just love the way these three indicators act together. Just such a cool partnership between all these indicators. I just absolutely love them. So yeah, that's basically what I use now. So anyways, guys, like I said, I'm gonna wrap up the stream, but I'll still stick around and we can just have a more casual chat, crypto talk with the rest of you who are still here. So with that, I'm gonna wrap up the stream. Stay safe, my friends. With that, I'm out. Peace.